it is time to lock in, because if you take these next couple of months seriously, you can change your life. Today, I will give you guys a market update. We will talk about what kind of altcoin rally we should expect now that Bitcoin has broken all-time high. We're going to talk about specific good risk-to-reward altcoins. I've been reluctant to talk about altcoins for a while now, but I do believe that the risk-to-reward now is as good as you can get it. So make sure to watch the entire video. Please remember that nothing I say is financial advice. So Bitcoin broke its previous all-time high. This should come as no surprise if you've been following this channel, as we have been calling for this to happen within Q2 pretty much every single video over the last couple of months. Trump is also back at it again with tariffs, which still keeps on shaking the market. So it's very clear that we're not completely over with this. So there might be some more volatility moving forward. Having said this, what I want you all to pay attention to is the current sentiment in the market. It seems like very few people care about the fact that Bitcoin has made a new all-time high. And there are primarily two reasons for this. First, the media has told people that the orange man is bad and that tariffs are going to ruin the world economy, so investors have been careful. Second reason why the sentiment still feels neutral is because you're most likely in an altcoin algorithm. This means that the content that gets recommended to you is primarily focused on altcoins. If you were holding Bitcoin and you were in a Bitcoin algorithm, of course the sentiment will look completely different. And you'll notice that these Bitcoin focused channels right now are doing fantastic in terms of views and subscribers. So they are celebrating, but because you hold altcoins, we don't exactly share the same joy yet. One thing that is essential to understand is that if we as altcoin holders were feeling joyful in this market, it means that we're no longer early. Sentiment very often inversely correlates with price, meaning that when sentiment is bad, most likely you're looking at good altcoin prices. This is why we have been buying a lot over the last couple of months. We'll discuss exactly some of the altcoins I would hold later in the video. But before this, I want to briefly touch upon what kind of altcoin rally we should expect now that Bitcoin has broken its previous all-time high. I talked about this in my last video, but I think it's important that we run through this one more time. And that is because we could be facing a very crucial moment right now with regards to our altcoins. So last video, I laid out my thesis that I do expect alts to at least hold Bitcoin's hand for a month after Bitcoin hits a new all-time high. This of course assumes that Bitcoin continues to pump, similar to what we saw during the November pump. Back in November, after Bitcoin broke its new all-time high, alts started pumping together with Bitcoin for a month and then suddenly let go of its hand. I think the first month here is going to be very crucial, because based on prior data from previous cycles, whether we get a fully fledged altcoin season now or a small alt rally, alt should at least be able to pump for a month, given of course that Bitcoin continues to make new highs. And there are primarily two indicators that we have been tracking on this channel that are in favor of a more prolonged run for Bitcoin. First one is the fact that every single time Bitcoin has bounced from this 50-week moving average, we have in this cycle seen at least a 100% gain before cooling off and then tested again. A 100% gain would put Bitcoin at around 154K. The second indicator that we have been tracking is the global M2. The global M2 has also been indicating that we're due for a pump that could last for as long as into the middle of July. So time will tell. There's no way of knowing what kind of pump we are getting until it's too late. So the best way to hedge for both scenarios, whether we hold Bitcoin's hand for a month and let go, or if we get a solid altcoin season, the best way to hedge is of course to take profits early, exit your alts early, and look for rotation plays. This is exactly how I changed my life last cycle when I rotated from ADA to AXI. One rotation with solid altcoins is all it takes. I will be talking about specific altcoins in a bit, but there's one crucial thing I need to talk about before that. I've noticed other YouTubers are now also talking about profit taking through rotation and compounding gains. I am very happy that they do, because I know that it works, and I want everyone that is actively in the altcoin market right now to succeed, because you deserve it after the hell you've been through. This is the best way to make money this cycle, because it's a trading cycle for altcoins. But one thing you need to be aware of when rotating is that it's really hard to sell your entire bag and then rotate 100% into the next pick and then make two easy 10x's, which in total makes a 100x. The reason why that sounds too good to be true is because it is. If the new rotation pick underperforms or unexpected news emerges, you're fully committed with no capital to adjust. Furthermore, coupled with all the emotions you will be feeling, All in and all out trades will amplify emotional decision making, and you have to trust me when I say this, it will lead to panic and FOMO. So in light of my experience, the best way to do this is that you gradually take profit the same way you gradually DCA into your new pick. This is the safest way of doing it, so keep that in mind. If you want to see exactly the picks we're rotating into, check out the Discord. So what altcoins would I be looking into to be prepared for the move coming up? I won't have time to talk about all the coins I'm bullish on, but I will talk about some that I think are at a point of good risk reward. I will be making more extensive tier lists now that altcoins will be bullish again, so make sure you are subscribed for that. The first narrative I would be paying attention to is meme coins. Now, meme coins, in my honest opinion, are probably the most important narrative for this cycle. I think meme coins have the most upside potential of any altcoin narrative. And the reason why I say this is because time and time again, we're witnessing meme coins responding well to BTC pumps. And we see them outperform every other narrative. And you can hate on this narrative as much as you want, but people lie and numbers don't. The fact that meme coins dip more than other narratives is of course due to their solid performance when they're pumping. And both the beauty and the ugly of meme coins is that it's not held back by utility. You don't have a quantitative variable that you need to compensate or advocate for when you say that one meme coin is better than the other. You can say that a layer 1 has better TPS than its competition, objectively making it better. But those variables don't work for meme coins. So on the one hand, it's a lot easier. It even seems kind of random what will work and what will not. But on the other hand, this is where you actually have to really exercise your theory of mind. You need to put aside what you like and think about what others like. Even though it's more subtle, I do believe there's a winning formula for buying meme coins that can pump. Here are my criteria. Stood the test of time, is timeless, and has centralized exchange listings. As long as your meme coin falls within these criteria, you can't really go wrong. By the way, follow my Twitter for regular updates like these. There is one meme coin that I think is perfectly placed for a rally in terms of risk reward, and that is Mr. Miggles. Miggles has stood the test of time. It has by no means completely faded off. It's timeless, meaning that it is not a reference to a meme that will die off. And last but not least, it has centralized exchange listings. And the final point here is crucial because Miggles has a bunch of low-tier exchanges, but they're missing Coinbase. Miggles is on the Base chain, and during the last couple of months, I've noticed Coinbase has been listing a bunch of low-cap Base meme coins, ranging from Toshi to Degen to Dog and Me, Keyboard Cat, etc. And if you compare these meme coins and how they reacted when they got their Coinbase listing announcement, you will notice something very important. Timing is everything. Toshi saw a 1700% gain after their Coinbase announcement, while Dog and Me and Keyboard Cat didn't see nearly as much, while even being way lower in market cap at the time of the announcement. Miggles is very clearly, in terms of market cap, direct connection to Coinbase, basket of Base, volume, cat narrative, one off, if not the next meme coin that is being listed on Coinbase. I think Coinbase is waiting for the perfect time to try and replicate what we saw from the Toshi listing. If we get a perfectly timed listing, you're at least looking at a 10x over the course of a few days. Mid to long term, you could even be looking at a 20x. So if there's one meme coin that I would bet on right now that has the best risk reward, it would be Mr. Miggles. Then we have the RWA narrative, which I also think is going to be one of the great narratives for this cycle. This is the narrative that's going to bridge traditional finance in crypto and is already doing so with institutions integrating blockchain for asset tokenization. And the best pick here is going to be Ondo. Ondo is the leader within RWA. The reason why Ondo is on this list is not because it will yield you a 20x. It's because, like we talked about in previous videos, it's the best risk reward play in RWA and will conservatively yield you good gains even from today's price. And I honestly don't think there are a lot of altcoins that you can get the same kind of quote unquote certain gains as you will with this altcoin, primarily due to the fact that it has so many connections with TradFi institutions like BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, PayPal, JP Morgan, etc. Furthermore, another reason why I'm so confident that Ondo will perform is due to a very valid KPI, which is TVL. This has been on the rise for a long time, primarily due to its stablecoin USDY and the OUSG, which is a tokenized fund. So institutions are involved, they're actually invested. It's the leader in RWA. Fundamentally, there are no other RWA project that comes close to Ondo. Next up, we have a low cap within the AI narrative, and that is AI Tech. Now, AI Tech has been one of those projects that have really proved themselves during the altcoin bear market we've had over the last couple of months. And this is also why my conviction has stayed with this project. If a project stops developing, I don't see any reason to hold it. The thing with this particular project is that it has continued their marketing campaign throughout the entire period without missing a day. And together with this marketing campaign comes, of course, actual development with regards to their ecosystem, with their data center, AI agent platform, their compute platform, etc. They have a new site, they're bridging to Solana to also appeal to degens. They have made a ton of partnerships, but judging by this chart, some might think that zero developments have been made. One of the reasons why this project has been hit so hard and produce a chart like this is first and foremost because it's a low cap AI play. And together with the entire altcoin market, it has been going down. Furthermore, AI tech had a pretty rough vesting throughout 2025. This vesting does not mean anything when we're bullish and pumping because the buy volume exceeds the sell volume. But when we've peaked and people start taking profits, it's going to matter a lot. So right now we have 82% unlocked, which means that we have very little dilution left. Therefore, there aren't that many people left to sell on you. AI tech has formed a very clear bottom, which was at the 1 cent mark. Now we're quite out from that point, but I still believe AI tech has a lot of gas left in the tank. Couple this with a good tier 1 listing, which will probably come within 2025. AI tech can still yield really good gains. But one thing to keep in mind here is that even though there is limited dilution left of the project, the dilution has still taken a toll on the market cap. So if AI tech were to reach its previous all-time high of about 43 cents, that is no longer 200 million in market cap as it was back here. So that is something you need to take into consideration. If we continue to be bullish here, there's going to be a lot of new retail that is going to enter the space. And they will not be able to understand this. They will look at a chart like this, look at the previous all-time high, and think that we of course can surpass this easily. But you need to take aggressive profits before we get to this point. Don't end up holding a bag on the way down here. One thing I need to mention, and for some reason this comes as a shock to some people, is that I'm planning on exiting all of the altcoins I just mentioned. I will not be able to make a video about this in real time, so to follow these calls and what I'm rotating into, you have to join the Discord. I have a full rotation course in the Ultimate Lifetime Bundle for those who want to take this seriously. Link in description. Prices will increase now that we made a new all-time high. Take care and stay safe.